Ladies, gentlemen, it's time to see just how far we'll go before we devolve into arguments and debate and bullshit, because I don't think this is going to last very long. Uh, is this game, the game that everyone was bitching about on Twitter a couple days ago.
It has sort of subsided now. Yes.
Well, that's because Sonic. Nobody cares anything about Sonic Boom now that Smash is out. Let's be real.
that very true. Very true. Very
Can I
true.
just want to quickly say the fact that it opens up by saying achieved with CryEngine, not exactly something you want to be proud of. You know, I would have left that comment out. I'll be honest.
Somebody's crying.
as they say, pride goeth before destruction. This game is a perfect example of that. Fuck you, CryEngine.
Someone was going to make that pun, but somehow I knew it was going to be Gareth who said it. Who said something first? Okay, let me just say I like this game well enough, or I liked it well enough the first time I played it, but my mind is numb from playthrough number 2. Also, this is the sloppiest intro cutscene ever.
There's frame rate issues within like the first 20 seconds of the game. It's not necessarily the best element.
All the cutscenes are
not
bad.
even that.
Like in terms of
Not even that. No, look, just wait. This pissed me
oh,
off.
what the title?
This is not YouTube.
Best, that's the best.
It looks like something I would have edited.
Yeah, that was ripped right out of Adobe Premiere.
Oh man. The other thing that irritates me about the beginning of the game is we start with a speed section, and the speed sections are, in my opinion, the worst part of the game. Just generally speaking, not talking about the hydro dashing. The hydro dashing I can mostly tolerate, but these tracks just bug me.
Well, for my money, it's the reason why the speed sections I dislike the plays because for some reason the frame rate always craps out on them. Like, you can, in some of the platforming section, you can sometimes get a pretty steady frame rate, but the second it goes into a speed section, it just goes to hell.
They also feel really tacked on. I mean, it's like one track, copy-pasted for 6 miles.
Well, I mean,
Well, this whole entire game feels like it could be any kind of mascot, like, generic adventure platformer. So, like, it feels like the speed sections are there just because, well, it's Sonic. We have to have him go fast at some point.
We have to have something to remind the audience that you're playing a platforming game with Sonic. That's definitely what we're doing here. Don't forget it. Speed section here. Go.
Well, you know what? There was a rumor that Big Red Button was shipping around like a earlier version of this game to different studios, and apparently Sega were like, we like that, put Sonic in it. That could be completely bullshit, but it could be why it could just fit. You know, the gameplay is so far removed from Sonic, and as Lewis said, these sections do kind of feel tacked on.
All right. Can I just say though, before we really get into the meat of this playthrough, our general
opinion,
general thoughts on the game as a whole, like in one sentence, do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you indifferent to it? Just so people can get an idea of who's on what side through this commentary. Because I personally, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Hater.
Meh.
I am indifferent to it.
I think it's okay. Like, not great, but I had fun during my one playthrough, and I probably will not do another one. So.
I'm gonna have to take a shower after saying this, but I kind of agree with Ted. I think there's a decent, average / decent game buried in behind all the terrible programming and bugs and glitches and shit like that. But it's not 06 bad. I'll just say that.
Okay,
It's
can
very
we
meh.
can we get that? Can we just get that said right around now that anybody who says it's 06 bad is just being kind of melodramatic and bitchy?
Or they haven't played either game.
Okay,
Because-
that's probably more accurate.
Hold on, but let me stop you there. Can I intersect with
No.
why is it so bad to say its quality is up there with Sonic 06?
Because I don't think it is. This game is glitchy. Like, I will not, I can't not agree with people who say this game is glitchy, but the fundamental control is not broken. 06's control was broken. I would say, in terms of how you control the characters, Boom is fine. I never had any issues with the control. In 06, I would die just by trying to jump and shit like that. Like, Boom is just, as I said, like, the core gameplay isn't terrible. Everything around it is awful. As opposed to 06, you had, like, really, when you think about what's good about 06, it's really just the music and some of the CG cutscenes. Everything else is kind of a broken mess.
different strokes for different folks, I'd imagine. It's just that, it's like, look, if you want to, if you like the game, that's fine. That's not what I'm judging. It's just that I can't help but feel that people are just so afraid to say it's terrible because, her Sonic cycle and all that sort of shit. I don't think that's bullshit, obviously, but
Lost World was terrible. This game isn't terrible. This game's just boring.
I liked it.
I think Lost World's better than
I
this.
enjoyed this more than Lost World. But
Yeah,
that's
I did
just me.
too. I did because here's the thing to me is that I don't get what you I don't get you at all, John. Where you'd rather play something that's frustrating than something that's just sort of whatever.
But it was look, man. It's the fucking principle of the thing. If you're gonna give me a Sonic game where Sonic's not Sonic, it's not a fucking Sonic game,
So
man.
it's still just because it's not a Sonic game doesn't
John,
mean it's not.
aren't you looking
good
at the
game.
screen? There's golden rings.
Then
It's
what's
clearly
the
a Sonic game.
Yeah, let's talk about the rings. They throw so many at you for no fucking reason. They refill your health, but it's not like you can do anything. What's the point of collecting all of this
Actually,
shit right now?
well, the rings do unlock the concept art and stuff, which is the least shitty collectible you can get.
John,
making the rings
John,
actually
John, the reason why
getting.
there's so many rings is because we need to hear all the characters every 6 seconds go, look, there's a ring! I got a ring!
Oh, God.
Rings. Oh, look, there's rings! Rings!
Jesus Christ. Look, you want to say this game is not 06 back, you go right ahead. I disagree completely. It's
You
not
like
worse
Sonic
than
06,
It's
so you
not
don't get to
worse.
talk, mister.
I like the Sonic portions of 06. I've said that plenty of times, but
And thus
it's
your
not worse than...
credibility goes
Look, it's not worse...
all the
Yeah,
way
to you,
over
Ted.
there.
To
I
you,
agree.
Ted.
Guys, I agree. 06 is one of my favorite games to play because it's so fucking broken. But I wouldn't, I'll be honest with you. And given the choice, I probably would play 06 over Boom. But not because I think it's better, because it's so broken. I like to see how I can fuck up the game. But, yeah.
Can
Fuck you, Johnny.
I just interject here? I can see where Johnny's coming from with the Lost World comparison. I had a better experience with Boom than Lost World, but that's just because Lost World controls didn't jive with me. But at the same time, Lost World tried to do some pretty interesting things with the Sonic gameplay, whereas Boom here isn't even trying to be a Sonic game.
My thing about Lost World and Boom and their comparisons, which this is something that I go back and forth with a lot in games. Like Lost World, I don't like it, and I'll be honest with you. During our commentary, I was kind of just shitting on it just because it was funny that I thought if five of us hated it and Clement liked it, it kind of made him look like an idiot. That's why I like doing that. But Sonic Lost World, for all intents and purposes, it is a game that achieves what it sets out to do. It's not a broken game. I have some issues with how Sonic controls, but the control itself is not inherently bad, it's just different. Lost World sets out to do exactly what it wants to do. Unfortunately, what it wants to do just isn't very good. Boom, on the other hand...
What it wants to do is not be a Sonic game.
Exactly. Boom, on the other hand, doesn't get to achieve what it wants to do because it's inherently broken in terms it's not polished. Lost World, say what you want about Lost World. Lost World is a polished game. It's not really buggy. You want 9.999% out of 10. If you die, it's going to be normally your fault. In this game, not really, and so it's kind of like the kind of on opposite ends of bad games, as it were. But I will always go for a game that tries and fails than a game that succeeds but is just fucking boring. Because for my money, a boring game is worse than a bad a game that.
Well, that's my mentality.
No,
So that's my mentality.
I don't get that. I really...
Can I take a minute to just highlight something that really pisses me off about this game that particular section we just passed does? The character's always constantly telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Always.
It looks like a homing shot.
To be fair, guys, you can turn off the voices in the option menu. So if it really does
I
bother you, you
prefer,
can
yeah.
just turn them down.
I wanted to highlight that area in particular because, okay, they scattered a lot of rings and breakable objects over there. Obviously, they want you to stop and collect stuff, but every 10 seconds, the characters will say, these pillars might be useful. You're supposed to jump on the pillars to get to the other side. No shit.
And it's true that you can turn the voices off if it's really grating on your nerves, or you can just not make them as chatty. Just saying. But Ted,
Yeah, John, I agree with that, but I'm saying, yeah.
If they turn down the voice frequency by about 1/10.
About 99%.
But no, like if they made the characters talk about 1/10 of the time that they actually do, it would have been perfectly fine.
1/10. That's still like 9 sentences per 10 seconds.
No, I think he meant like bringing it down from 100 to 10 as opposed to.
I know.
Yeah. It's like, you know, the actual in-game dialogue isn't bad. It's just the repetition of it. You see, this game has an issue with, you know, a lot of the lines are kind of bland, and they're all saved by the delivery because the actors just did such a great job with this.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're talking specifically about the random crap that they'll say in gameplay, right? Because for my money, I think that this is the funniest Sonic game. Like, when it comes to the cutscenes, I think that this is the funniest Sonic game pretty much ever made. I love the dialogue that these characters have. Like, we skipped over it at the beginning, but Knuckles doesn't know right from left. I got a chuckle out of that.
I will say though, I will take this in-game dialogue, at least the in-game dialogue in Boom tries to be somewhat entertaining as opposed to, like, say, to go back to 06, all the in-game dialogue and that was just exposition like, Sonic, we have to go over there and open the door. Like, they didn't try to be entertaining. Boom, you can make the argument that Boom fails in terms of in-game, and I agree, there were numerous times I groaned while listening to some of the dialogue, but at least it's trying to be somewhat entertaining as opposed to, say, like Heroes or 06, where it was filled with just like line after line and most of it was just boring as shit.
Heroes was trying to be entertaining, but in that case, the delivery failed it in a lot of places.
Yeah, it was the delivery is where it really failed on it. And there's no question. Boom, you know, if you're looking at it, if you like the storyline, well, not so much storyline, but more like character interactions, it's great. You know, I think the characters are animated well. It's like there's a lot of love put into it, and I can compliment that. You know, we still got a long way to go.
Look at all those lyrics robots!
This is gonna be a long playthrough.
This is really going to be a long playthrough.
Watch it, Amy's hammer goes flying, and then when she falls down, she's holding it again. Great job, Big Red Button! Continuity, what a device.
Hey, let's be fair. Even a good movie like The Avengers forgot to give everybody Bluetooth headsets.
Oh,
so
there's so much wrong. Do not bring up the Avengers in that regard. I love that film, but there's so much shit wrong with that film. It's not even funny. I don't get this. We just destroyed.
Metal Sonic. You could like run to him and get through the door.
Now, this game is very short on actually good character moments, but I liked this character moment where he's just putting his hand on the button and it's not
Father, why do you abandon me?
it harkens back to his Metal has in the canon series a bit of a complex about being the real Sonic, which I think only really comes up in Heroes.
Yeah.
But I liked them touching on that. Hi, Shadow. What are you even doing here?
People on the Sonic Stadium brought this up, but in that cutscene, I think they did like Shadow has Sonic spikes in that little section there, so that is literally a Sonic recolor. Good job, BRB.
Might as well have made him Scourge.
I mean, I would have loved that. That would have been amazing if they choose Scourge instead. I know,
it's never too late.
I know we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves here, but I'm just gonna, as we just saw Shadow and Metal Sonic, I think that both of them were added very late in development just to try and appease fans.
No, they're there because we need more boss fights. Let's be real here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe, but
well, then they should have used Eggman more, but they've only used only use Eggman a total of one time.
Yeah, well, actually, all the bosses are one-off. We have the Worm, we have one Eggman fight, one Metal Sonic fight, one Shadow fight, one Eggman fight, one Lyric.
You said
fight.
Eggman twice.
No, I meant, did I?
Because he's just that fat.
Lewis, you say that there is a kind. It's not. You wouldn't really call it a boss fight, but there is kind of a Lyric Eggman team up section.
Yeah, but But you can just equate that to a typical Hydro Dash and Speed section. You're avoiding shit the same as you do as every other section like that.
How would you sum up Sonic Boom in a phrase, Johnny? You avoid shit. The end.
I just want to say, while I found this game entertaining on my first run, every time I've played this level it has been boring. The tutorial section goes on for way too long.
Well, the game's not really hard, and that's done on purpose because the target audience is, I think, very young kids. But I think even this tutorial level is a little bit too, because there's nothing that can kill you here, like at all.
No.
Well,
there's actually a lot of moments like that in this game.
The point of this tutorial section is to get you acquainted with all the characters' special actions, but their individual sections go on too long for just that.
Although, lads, I think we can all agree, right? This is nowhere near as bad as Skyward Sword's tutorial. Am I right, lads? Fuck that game!
Oh god, we just can't go a fucking LP.
You do Gareth, you know what you've done?
The comments, man, the comments.
I like Skyward. Comment, people in the comments. I agree. I like Skyward Sword. I think these guys are insane, but I need the views. Skyward Sword should be.
You know what? Just to clarify this, in a video where no one can miss my comment response, I don't hate Skyward Sword. I don't think any of us here actually hates Skyward Sword. It's just those first few hours, man.
No, I think
Ryan let's leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that, please. I'm tired of bringing that game up.
Good thing I'm not recording it.
Just when you guys find the LP, I just have every part just talk about how much you hate. Don't mention the game. Just say this game sucks for 4 hours. This shit game shit.
Back to what's actually going on screen. I guess I might as well take this opportunity to explain what the collectibles are and why you shouldn't bother going after most of them.
Yeah.
Okay, the big glowing circle things are princess crowns. You need to collect a certain amount of those to upgrade yourself.
Are they specifically princess crowns?
Yeah, that's what they call them.
That's what Styx calls them.
Princess Sally's canon confirmed.
The thing about them is you only need 150 of them to get the maximum upgrade levels, and there are like 600 in the game. So just pick up the ones you can see, and don't bother being all completionist about it. The other collectibles are shinies, which you actually can't get. I tried picking up a few on my way through the first level. What you actually have to do is stomp a certain X marks the spot on the floor at the end of every trail of footprints that you find in a level, but you can't actually do this until Styx the Badger tells you can.
Which is dumb design.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have to get all the way up to the second hub world before you can unlock shinies, which means half the levels, if you want to be completionist, you'll have to play them at least twice.
The dumb thing about the shinies...
I haven't heard the word shiny said so much in I last watched Firefly. What the fuck?
Or you look in the comment section of me in a Pokemon video, but really the dumb thing about the shinies in particular is that they're just basically another princess crown. You trade in one shiny to Styx to get one princess crown, and that's it.
Padding.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I get the sense from this game that Styx was rushed into the game just
completely.
shoehorned in.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they conceptualized her a lot later for the 3DS game, and they wanted to make the two connect, even though they're alternate continuities to begin with. So what the fuck?
I know.
The alternate continuities in this alternate
that
series.
Makes no sense to me. I just finally saw the plot of Shattered Crystal not too long ago because I haven't bought it yet, and like it has a different continuity. They discover Lyric in the 3DS game for the first time, and I'm like, wait, it's not a sequel to the Wii U one? It's a separate continuity? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, but they're both prequels to the TV show.
Yeah, okay. so Johnny, if I'm gonna do a bit of a character spoiler here. So if we truly view Rise of Lyric as a prequel to the cartoon, that means that one day Sonic and friends find Styx, they give us some tin cans, and then they're the best friends because fuck you. Like
she's just a tag along.
I know. It's like,
hey, these guys gave me a frying pan. Friends with benefits.
I will say though, the Shattered Crystal, like the end in the Shattered Crystal is 1,000 times better than the end in the Rise of Lyric.
Okay, I haven't played Shattered Crystal, so I just need to ask: is Shadow as needless there as he is here?
No, Shadow actually
has like his backstory still isn't explained, but at least there's an actual reason as to why he tries to fight you.
Yeah, he has relevance in Shattered Crystal compared to this, where he's just here for 5 minutes to see how things are going and then leaves.
Okay.
I will say though, when we get to it, he has my favorite line and my favorite animation in the entire game. When we get to that cutscene, I fucking love it. It's so funny.
I'm not sure if this tutorial section is shortened if you go local co-op, because in local co-op, you could take control of one character, the other person takes control of another character via gamepad, and you do things separately.
I think it is. I think it's because I think the very first LP of this was released like the Saturday before it came out, and they were playing co-op. And I think they did that. I will say though, I think Lewis brought it up a few minutes ago. This game, to a certain degree, kind of reminds me of Kingdom Hearts because you get like the actual cutscenes, which are kind of really nicely animated, and you get some of the in-game stuff with the character's mouths just moving, nothing else, and it's really disorientating.
Yeah, because the cutscene animations for the characters are really expressive and nice, and then you see Amy talking in game, and it's ugh.
What happened to your soul?
You know the really shitty thing about that though is that Jak and Daxter handled that exact thing a lot better. Like
And
10
that was
years ago.
and that was a launch PS2 game.
Yeah.
So is this.
I compare this game to Jak and Daxter a lot, but that's not
It's
exactly
the same
a favorable
fucking game, but
comparison.
worse.
No, do you know what the big really good thing about Jak and Daxter 1 was? How technically solid it was.
Mhm.
It was like it was perfect. It was programmed on its own like brand new programming language and everything. And there was no load times. It was one big
Yep,
old
that game was
world,
awesome.
and even the characters that you talk to in the hub world for side quests, which we have in this game too,
Oh, God.
had great animations. They had great animations, and in this game, it's like, what happened here?
Well, see, the thing, like, I'm sure we'll get into it when we get there, but to me, this game, it feels... I mean, obviously, it feels unfinished because of the lack of polish, but when you get to things like hub worlds, they're so empty, I can't help but think that, they had planned extra stuff.
Probably.
Extra, like, maybe side questions and shit.
After the game was released, there was all sorts of reports coming out of how troubling the production was for Rise of Lyrics specifically. Big Red Button apparently was losing teams and staff in like the middle of July, and they had to compromise, and it became a mess. I don't know the full story, but one of the credits, jumping the gun really ahead here at the end of Rise of Lyric, is sleep deprivation.
Which I think that's why this comparison is a bit more applicable, but a lot of people like to bring up 06 in that regard, because obviously 06 had a very troubled production. Eugene Arca left during production of it, as did a lot of other people that surrounded him. So in that regard, I will agree, Lyric is like 06 in that regard, because they both had very... I mean, it doesn't excuse the final product, but they both... Especially when you read reports like apparently this game has been in production for like 3 years, and it's like, really? 3 years?
Well, it feels like it needed at least another 6 months to iron out all the kinks, because
Yeah, but then you can't have it released at the same time as the cartoon, and Sega has to have it on time, otherwise, the kids won't buy it.
Okay, actually, you know what? That's actually this is a licensed game. It's a licensed game for the cartoon, and so by licensed game standards, yeah, it's okay.
Well, see, you know what the thing? Like, I know this is going back and forth. I mean, I know, and obviously, Sega would want the cartoon, because Sega will make far more money if the cartoon is successful over if this game does well, which ain't gonna happen. But like, I mean, Sega first and foremost are a gaming company, and they have said they made these in tandem with each other. I mean, yeah, it is based on this side of the franchise, which is accompanied by a cartoon. But I don't know if I would class Lyric as or Shattered Crystal as straight, I wouldn't class this like, say, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventure, which is clearly based on that cartoon franchise. To me, this is, it's almost, I know it shares the Sonic Boom name and some of the characters, but tonally and where its location, it's so far removed from the cartoon that, I agree that it was probably rushed to make the cartoon's premiere, but I don't know. To me, this doesn't feel like it's just made from, because apparently, according to what who was in charge of the 3DS game? Shuzaro?
Sanzaru?
Sanzaru Games.
Yeah, Sanzaru. Like, apparently, according to them, Big Red Button didn't have that much interaction with them or the cartoon people. Yeah, apart from like character designs and shit. Apparently, Big Red Button was mostly on their own. So, just things like that make me not really view this as, like a Rugrats video game, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. I'm drunk.
I can't pass on the game's quality strictly because it's licensed. Don't care about that.
No, Spider-Man
It's for
2 is
kids.
an awesome game.
Don't care about that.
That's the
You know,
only one. Name another good licensed game from the
Transformers
past 20...
Fall of Cybertron, Transformers War for Cybertron. Fuck you, Ted.
Chronicles of Riddick was a good game.
What about the Batman and Robin Super Nintendo and Genesis
You
games?
do realize that for every licensed game you guys list off, I can give you 10 more that are awful, right?
You said name one. I did. Ted, you can't win with
Can't
you.
write off a game's quality just because it's licensed or it's
No, it's a matter of expectations is more what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the end of the day, if the game is shit, I just can't say licensed game dirt. No, I'm just gonna say it's a bad game. I don't give a shit if it's licensed, if it's meant for kids, or if it's a spin-off. Because one thing that does legitimately anger me, I try not to let that get to me, but people write off this game as kids game, spin-off. It doesn't really count if it's bad. No, fuck you, okay? If it's a bad game, it's a bad game. I don't agree with that because, look, I probably would have been a lot nicer to Sonic Boom if it wasn't a platformer. If you want to be a spin-off, don't spin off into a genre that Sonic's already fucking in. It's a platformer. Sonic has always been a platformer. Luigi's Mansion is a spin-off from Mario, but it doesn't play like a Mario game. It's its own separate thing, and you can classify it as such. But if you're going to make a spin-off Sonic game but make it a platformer, I'm going to expect it to be a Sonic game. That's my mentality when it comes to Sonic Boom. I don't know if you guys agree with that or
Well,
not.
not when I saw the first trailer of it.
I mean, though, Johnny, I would say platform as a genre of a game is one of the more open-ended genres. You can there's many games you can class as a platformer, but like not all of them. Like Jak and Daxter is classed as a platformer. So is Kirby. I wouldn't say they both kind of play the same. I would say platform is one of the only genres where you can keep it within that genre, but still make it. I mean, again, I don't think this plays like, with the possible exception of Werehog, and I'm sure he'll come up at some point. Like, this to me doesn't really play like a Sonic game, just in terms of its level design, how the characters control. I mean, yes, there is platforming in it, but I wouldn't say it feels like a Sonic game.
I still say this is a game that kids can enjoy simply because they are not going in with the Sonic baggage that we 20-something adults are. They don't have a standard, and they don't have some kids will think Mario Galaxy and Sonic Boom are like the same level of quality, and you could say it's ignorance and like ignorance is bliss or whatever. But like I still say that this is a game that plays fine, and it can still get from start to finish without much problem because it's not super frustrating. Like it's an easy game. It holds your hand the whole way through, and I think kids will still find something to enjoy here. Yeah, I find it average, and I think it's a pretty forgettable game. But like, I know tons of kids are gonna like this game, and I can't. I think this is a much different thing from like Sonic Lost World on 3DS, where no, kids should not be pushing snowballs. Kids should not be getting pushed around by sand waves all the time in Desert Ruins 3. Kids should not have to play as a drill wisp in 3D. Like 3DS Lost World was a terrible game, and I would not recommend that to kids. But I think there's a standard here that like. Kids will enjoy it, although I still say it's an average game, and that's where I stand on that.
To me, the argument of whether kids will like it or the quality of standards is different. If kids find something to like here, that's fine. It's just that I think, in matter of the principle of the thing, is that yeah, kids will like it, but kids deserve better than this.
Yeah.
Not every game is the best game ever, though.
No, but it doesn't matter, Ted. It doesn't matter. The fact is that you can't give a game any less love because of the demographic. It's disrespectful, I think.
Can I extrapolate on that point? Just thinking about it. How back in the day when games were just generally for kids,
yeah,
we still got games that weren't handholdy and all that.
Days.
Yeah, and these days it's
I remember playing a lot
either...
of crappy games when I was a kid. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I know when I was 6 or 7, I got like Who Framed Roger Rabbit for the NES, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was such a terrible game, and I loved the movie, so I was so disappointed.
What I actually want to point out though is it's more like these days now games for kids and just games are being treated as two different standards, and I don't think that's necessary.
Mm.
Because, even though a game like Sonic Lost World on the Wii U or Super Mario 3D World, that kind of game, is not made specifically with kids in mind, but it's still kid-friendly. I mean, you can argue that Mario is for kids, but no, that they're not injecting all that nostalgia for 10-year-olds. They're injecting it for 30-year-olds. Let's be honest here.
Can I quickly interject about the cutscene we just saw with Lyric? Like, I know we're gonna come up to it in another part, but it doesn't like. I think kind of like Lost World. There's must be story content cut out. Because we see Lyric with that big ball in his hands, and he's frozen in a temple in a room that we don't come back to later on in the game. So the fact that he's blaming Sonic for like basically the plot is like Lyric blames Sonic for freezing him in like the past, but what we're gonna see doesn't match with what we just encountered Lyric doing. So I'm like,
At least we got a good moment out of it with the me.
yeah, I guess like the cutscenes. I love that section because I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm pretty sure it's a bad thing.
I did think the spin dash line is a little bit cheesy though, because it's like, I never miss my spin dash.
Well, you could literally have missed your spin dash like 10 times before that point.
Hey, he did.
Yeah,
Well,
but even then, it's not even accurate. He did hit Lyric, he just didn't hit Lyric.
he hit the ball. Like he aimed for Lyric's ball.
The ball, the way he was holding it, it looked like some sort of weird, hyper advanced handcuff.
Morph ball,
sort of
yeah.
deal.
Which I think this was just Big Red Button carrying on from Lost World. In cutscenes, Sonic can't do shit with a spin dash.
Yeah.
Actually, as we're going to see later in the game, what actually happened is that Sonic hit Lyric with that exact same attack the first time they met,
Which
is in Sonic's case the second time they met, and time travel's confusing.
That's why it's funny because he got. I like Lyric's line of 1,000 years later. You're still predictable. Like we're gonna see they have maybe 20 seconds of interaction in the past.
And he didn't see the spin dash coming the first time, so he wasn't predictable then.
The thing is, like, Lyric, as we're gonna see, Lyric watches him, like, in the past, Lyric watches him, like, turn into a ball, rev up, and then come flying towards him. And his only reaction is just, what? I love that. I can't wait till we get to that cutscene. I love that shit.
Roxfall, everyone. Lyric is not a very good DM.
You see, that's why this game sucks. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that was anticlimactic.